Welcome, everyone, to the monthly mindset November 2022 session. My name is Desi, or Advent, if you know me from the internet or from wherever, honestly. We're here. Quick little background on myself for those who don't know. I've been trading for about 2 years and 4 months now. Yeah, 2 years, 4 months. I've been full-time trading for almost 7 months now. And I love it. So for those who have never been here for my Q&As, super straightforward. Literally ask me questions about anything, whether it be your trading, your personal life, if you're comfortable speaking on that. And I will give you tips, techniques, strategies, literally anything. Just ask me and I'll help you out with it. I'll give you some of my own experiences, what I did to help, whatever it may be that you ask me. And yeah, so with all that being said, you guys do have the ability to unmute yourself. So you can always come off unmute or just type in the chat, whatever questions you have, and then I'll answer them. Also, last little thing to mention, I'm going to be giving a surprise bonus towards the end of this. So for those who are watching this and for those who are here, I'll be letting you know more towards the end of this session, what that is. And with that being said, I give the floor to you guys. Whatever you want to ask, I'm ready.
Hey, so I got a question on broadening formations.
Yep.
So if you use broadening formations, do you not mess with like kind of support and resistance on like uptrend or downtrend channels?
So
if it's in like an uptrend channel, you know that support is kind of crossing your broadening formation.
So with broadening formations, let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Cool. So for broadening formations, I use the strat as my strategy. As a strat user, you're not necessarily, I guess, supposed to use support and resistance, supply, demand, stuff like that, but you can incorporate it into using the strategy or the strat. I myself personally use support and resistance. That's how I kind of started learning how to trade. I tried using supply and demand. I personally didn't really care for it. Literally, the only reason why is because when I would draw it out, it's just kind of obnoxious on my screen. And I want to make my screen as not convoluted as possible, if that makes sense. But yeah, essentially, you can use support and resistance, trend lines, triangles, literally whatever you want with the strat, if it helps you, or if it gives you more confluence in the trade or whatever it is that you're looking at. So yeah, if it helps you, definitely do it. I myself just stick to support and resistance. It works for me, even though, well, let me see if I can bring up my ES chart and I'll show you.
I mean, broadening band is still pretty much a support and resistance level, right?
Yeah, so broadening formations are just support and resistance for people who use the strat.
That's what I'm saying. So you don't like it because the broadening formation, you know, they're kind of broadening, they're opening. But if you do like set the line like a trend line, like the trend is going up or whatnot, like I guess you couldn't use those trend lines if you're doing set trend line if you're doing broadening formation. It's kind of either or, I guess.
Yep. Also, I know this looks ridiculous, and even with the comment that I just said about not having my charts crazy, but bear with me. This works for me. So, whoops, let me move this. So let's just say, let me rewind this here. So let's say I didn't have, it was just these days, right? I have my broadening formation here, and then these other ones there. I can draw, if I wanted, maybe like a trend line, something like this, heading up. And then as you can see, once it broke down, I guess for people who use trend lines, you would get in the short once it breaks this. However, if you're trading the strat, which is just basically price action, you'll be getting in on this 3 down for a short. But again, you can use trend lines if you want to. I personally don't really care to do so. You can use it with the strat if you want to. Sometimes what I do is, let me see. Sometimes I'll draw triangles. Let me see if I can find a good example. This 15-minute, maybe the 5-minute might show us a little better. Actually, if I find the bool flag, all right, cool. So let's just assume, let's go on the 2-minute actually. Just gotta highlight this so I don't lose it. Cool. So let's say right here, maybe I'll draw something like, it doesn't really work here because I usually need this candle to be higher. I don't know. Let's just assume I do some weird. Nah, I want to give you a better example because I wouldn't really draw one here. Let me just find another flag. I guess technically, maybe like this bull flag. You guys can see my screen? It froze for a sec.
Yeah.
So let's say something like this. You'll draw like this bull flag to the downside. And if you were a triangle trader, once this breaks up, you would go long. As a strat user, you would get in on this 2 right here. So this will be a confirmation to get in on the long trade. And you would have pretty much ridden it all the way back up here from down here. So yeah, you can use trend lines if you choose to, or channels, whatever you want, if that helps you. But again, I personally don't. You can test it out and see how it works for you. But I will say this, if Brown ever listens to this or watches this, as he always says, you're either going to go full strat or you're not. There's no half stratting allowed. But, I'm biased since I use support and resistance or levels, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, made sense?
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, feel free to use it if that helps you. And just let me know how it works for you. And also, please make sure to label all your lines so they don't get convoluted. For those who do use TradingView, really quickly, because some people actually asked me this, I'll just answer it here. Now, let me actually go to the 1 hour just to make it a little easier. So with all these broader informations, all these crazy lines, all this stuff, yes, all this stuff, there's a lot of lines to manage. So if you ever want to turn these off, it'll be super annoying to do so. So one thing that was shared with me by one of my students, thank you, Cassandra, if you ever see this, go right down here to object tree. You see like those triangles or squares stacked on top of each other. Click on that, and it's going to give you the object tree. Going to show you every single thing that you have on your chart. And you can create folders for them. So here I have my monthly BFs, my 4 hour, my weekly, daily, hour, all that stuff. So if I ever want to turn all of them off at the same time, I can do so and at a click of a button. Now to put them in folders, super straightforward. Let's just say I draw these two. Let's just, for the sake of the conversation, I'll just keep them as trend line. So let me actually do that one more time. Whoops, my computer lagged for a sec. Let me actually close this. All right, cool. So let's say you have these two lines right here. You're going to click on any, whatever it is that you want to, whatever you want to group together. You click on it. And then on the top right here, this little folder, click on that, and then it creates a group. You can double click on it and just change the name here. So I could just put like trend lines. And then you can just put them in there, hide them if I wanted to. If I want to quickly delete all of them, just delete the folder and then they're gone right away. That definitely helped me. And then right here, I could just turn off all my supports, my resistances, which I have to actually update because the chart changed. But yeah, hopefully that helps. All righty, more questions. Type it. You can type it. You can get off. You can unmute yourself. You're more than welcome to do that. You have the ability. And yeah.
How you doing?
Hey,
Oh,
man.
can you hear me? How you doing?
Yep.
So just because I know that there's a lot of different trading styles for everyone, and I know there's a lot of different strategies. Obviously not every strategy works for every scenario. And I know you said that you were comfortable with doing like levels normally with your trading. How do you know when you feel like you should switch off of that and try a different strategy? Or is it just like if the trade doesn't match your strategy, do you just like wait and skip that one, or do you just try something else?
100%. If the setup that's presented to you is not one that you would take, or is not one that you're comfortable with, literally just leave it alone. There's always going to be more setups. There's always going to be more opportunities. So if you do see something that comes around with, I don't know, support and resistance, supply, demand, whatever it is, and it's not, doesn't really work for you, or you're not really familiar with it, just leave it alone. I am pretty biased since I discovered and have implemented the strat, mainly because mainly due to the fact that it's universal. It's based off of price action. So you can use it with anything: crypto, futures, Forex, stocks, options, literally whatever you want. It's universal. Use it with anything. However, with the strat, there's different types of setups. There's continuations, there are reversals, and stuff like that. Me personally, I trade reversals. It's my bread and butter. It works for me. I don't really care to trade continuations. For the most part, they don't really work well for me. I rather try to get in at the beginning of the move as opposed to in the middle or towards the end. And let me know if that makes sense before I continue.
No, that 100% makes sense.
Cool. So with the strat, what I love about it, again, is that it just simplifies everything. You don't need to have 30,000 indicators on your screen. Like before I discovered this, let me see if I even have some remnants. No, I took them all off. I had like the 50 EMA, 200 EMA, 5, 12, I don't know, 9, 8, whatever, RSI, which is useless. Whoever thinks otherwise, fight me on that. The awesome oscillator, MACD, all that stuff. And now, like, for my, I guess my trading personality or the way my brain works, this is just the best thing that I've ever discovered in my entire life, in my entire trading career. It's super simple, clear and straightforward. We follow what the price does. Because before, what will mess me up is, oh, this indicator saying go long, this indicator is saying go short. What do I do? But with the strat, it's simple. Hey, this thing does this, you're gonna go long. This thing does that, you're gonna go short. This thing does this, there's no trade. Simple as that. Of course, there are a lot of components to the strat, like broader informations, time continuity, stuff like that, which the what the candles mean, the little numbers and stuff. But once you get all that stuff down, it's super simple to understand. Well, with anything really, just the more time you dedicate to it, the easier it is. Making sense?
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. And again, like the more you, well, actually, let me ask you this. For you, are you kind of still looking for a strategy to use?
Yeah, I haven't found what like works for me yet. Like I'm still, sometimes I'll look at a chart and I'll be like, dang, like I feel like there's nothing in any of the charts I'm looking at. So maybe it's just like, the strategy I'm trying to use, or maybe I'm just using too many at the same time. So, yeah, I'm still trying to find my own thing.
Have you tested the strat yet?
Like over, what do you mean by tested?
Like, have you like actually like learned about it and try to implement it?
I've tried to implement it, but I definitely feel like there's a lot more that I can learn about it. So I'm just in that, like that middle time or that middle space where I'm still trying to learn everything that I can before I like feel like I'm fully comfortable implementing it everywhere.
That's fair. And again, you'll learn these things over time. At first, it will be a little confusing. Like for me, I'm like being transparent. Like a TTO, I didn't fully understand that until like 2 months ago, and I've been using this since like April, I think. Because I always, oh, TTO. I'm like, bro, what the heck? What are these people talking about?
Yeah, I don't even know what a TTO is.
And a TTO is pretty much just like a corrective activity or like a pullback before the stock or whatever it is that you're trading or the instrument continues in the direction of the trend. So right now, let's say for the sake of the conversation, the Nasdaq is on an uptrend, as we can clearly see here. More than likely, right here, this is a TTO on a lower time frame. Now, the more you look for these things and you practice it, the more you'll find them. Like for me, I can already tell you that more than likely there's a TTO on a smaller time frame. And again, a TTO, to keep it as simple as I can, it stands for triangle day out. So I wouldn't necessarily take this one just because of the way it looks. I'll show you a really clean one. Actually, let me just show you a really, really clean one. If Jordan's in here, which I think you are.
What's up?
Hey, man. He knows the TTO I'm about to show everybody. I just got to find it real quick. Let me turn these fibs off. It wasn't that one. Oh, perfect. I still have the triangle drawn. Cool. So literally until I started drawing the triangle, it made it easier for me to find. So for TTOs, pretty straightforward. As the name implies, triangle, the price goes up, price comes down. Whoever got in long here is getting destroyed and stopped out right here. Trying to get in on the trend. They got in towards the end of it. So let me make it a little simpler since I talk a lot. Bear with me. So with TTOs, essentially, you're going to be using them to get in on the trend at the most opportune moment. So for example, we're on an uptrend here. Personally, I wouldn't get in right here. I like to get in on TTOs to continue the trend. So with the TTO, like I mentioned earlier, as the name implies, triangle they out. So boom, triangle, and then they're out of here. Now, this to me would be a failed TTO because in order for it to be completed, it needs to hit the top of the triangle right here, which it never did. It came down, it triggered to get in long, but it didn't even hit the first target on the 5 minute. And then it kind of just chopped and then just died off. If it was a proper TTO, it would have continued up. And again, you can use different words like a bearish TTO. You may or may not hear us on the chat saying like, oh, like an H pattern. So an H pattern or dead cat bounce is another word for a bearish TTO. Like right here, there's not really a downtrend, so I wouldn't really consider that. But Actually, no, Bitcoin has one right now. This is on, I think, 4 hour. Let's reset this. Perfect. Bitcoin, huge ass H. Or right here, we get a TTO, boom, and then keep on dying down. So if you're using the strat, also really quickly, if you get a multitude of inside bars in a row, there's going to be a big move once it triggers up or if it triggers down. So really quickly, the TTO. I would want this more than likely on a lower time frame. This is a little cleaner, but to me, I would probably call this an H, but it would be considered a TTO anyway. So boom, come up, trigger down, killed everybody here, died off. Or H pattern, come back up and we die back down and complete the H. Or dead cat bounce, if people call it that too. Making sense? Kind of, a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, as you get more familiar with it, you'll start to see these things everywhere. And again, I can see a lot of these things just by screen time and by habit at this point, and just by practice. But again, just keep on putting in screen time. At least if you can't actively trade, how some of us do in the group or myself, just dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to it. And I will promise you that you'll start seeing them a lot more. So this was one H right here. This was on a bigger scale. Another one right there that's playing out. The max target will be down here, 1560, 600. And if it breaks that, rest in peace. We are going, shit, when was the last time we were down here? It's been a while. Yeah, we're going to at least a sub 15, I'll tell you that. Cool. Did that answer all your questions for the most part?
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, yeah, man, just like literally just what I would recommend, and for those who were in my webinar that I had in the beginning of September or the end of August, I mentioned this is like a component of an unsuccessful trader is somebody who continuously jumps from strategy to strategy. What you need to do, in my opinion, to be successful is literally stick to one strategy and just try it at least for a month to 2 months straight, like literally put in your all into it. And if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. But at least you tried. So like I had somebody like, oh yeah, I tried the strat for like 2 weeks and it didn't work for me. I'm like, you're not going to learn the ins and outs of the strat in 2 weeks. I'll tell you that right now. Like I said, I've been using it for the last, at this point, like 7 months. And I only fully understood a TTO 2 months ago. Granted, to be fair, I didn't really spend that much time on it until recently, but put in the time, let it work for you. A lot of people that I've taught it's like transformed their trading for the better. So just give it the attention that it deserves, and I think that it will help you a lot.
Thank you again.
Of course. Next questions. Yeah, like King in Yellow, he's in here right now. Like, shit, there was a time, I'm not sure if you were in there, Jaden. The profit section was just like, shit, I don't even know, like dozens and dozens of like Bitcoin, Ethereum profits that King was showing off.
Sure. I didn't, but man, congratulations.
Yep. So yeah, man, like I was literally I made a joke. I was like, I'm gonna rename the profit section to King's crypto wins. Yeah, until you burnt yourself out. That's another quick thing I'll just touch in really quickly. you need to have balance between your trading and your personal life. I can definitely attest to that. And even being a full-time trader now myself, I have everything scheduled in my life, my personal life, my trading life, all that, because I can get burnt out extremely easily, especially with everything I'm doing now. Like, I coach people, I run a Discord, I trade myself, and then personal life stuff. It's a lot of stuff to do, and then I got to study as well for my trading and everything else that I'm doing. It's a lot of mental energy that's being used. So we need to have systems in place to, essentially just a solid foundation to allow ourselves to succeed properly. So for me, I do my watch list and check charts for like 30 minutes to an hour, usually 30 minutes a day at max, because I'm very particular about what I trade at this point. I only trade from 9:30 to 12 noon. For the most part, I usually hit my daily goal in an hour or two, and then I'm done for the day. If not, like I said, I trade from 9:30 to 12 p.m. And then if I haven't hit my goal, I come back either at 2 or 2:30 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. I don't trade any more than 4 hours a day, because when I do, I get extremely burnt out, and it doesn't work for me. So just putting that out there, have some type of balance with trading and your personal life, or just to help you out, honestly. Because like King said, when you burn yourself out, like, you don't want to do anything. I hardly trade crypto as much as I did before. I think like a month or two ago, like literally I will like trade stocks or options, whatever. And then like at nighttime, I'll be looking for crypto setups. And I was making money, but like it took a toll on my health. Not nothing drastic, obviously. I'm just being dramatic, or it just sounds dramatic, but yeah, like I literally just had to like not trade for a whole week to get myself back together, because I was like super out of it. Anyway, all that to say, have a balance in your life. Moving on. Next questions, please.
I just had a question about like risk to reward ratio stuff.
Yep.
So firstly, do you base like the risk to reward for any trade on just the first target?
No. So usually, depending what I'm looking at, I'll be looking for the max move that I think, based on what I'm seeing, will happen. So for example, let's say this 3-1-1. I personally, I wish I saw this, because I would have, oh man. Anyway, so let's just say, and I'll zoom in as well to make this a little easier. Let me close this. Let me bring this down. So for those who aren't familiar with the strat, our trigger is when a candle breaks below or above the previous candle. In this case, the one candle, if it broke below, we're going short. If it breaks above, we're going long. Now, the first target will be right here, which I usually look for at least a 2-to-1, or I guess a 1-to-2 risk reward. So I'm going to risk, let's say, $100 to make 200. I'm not going to risk 100 to make 100, 100 to make 150. That doesn't make sense to me personally. So I only do 1-to-2s and higher. So watching this play out, this triple inside bar, and it looks like we're going to, the trade's going to play out in an H pattern. My ultimate target is going to be down here. So based on this, we have a 1-to-13 risk reward. I'm definitely taking this trade. I will tell you that much. And as you can see here, our stop is what, $83 for 1,088 return. Shit, I'm taking that. I'll tell you that. Now, if I see this trade, if I see this trade that the max target it can potentially hit is right here, like under 2, I'm not taking that. If the first target is 2, I'm taking that. But if it's under, I'm not gonna bother with it at all, personally. So with some specific trades, I just don't bother. That's just me. And if it does play out, cool. I'm patient. I'll wait for another one. There's no rush.
So then just kind of like a follow-up question to this then. For smaller accounts, would you recommend, because right now I'm mostly just kind of sell out of everything at my first target and maybe leave a runner if I'm
Mhm.
feeling good about it. But would you recommend still trying to like run? I'm only doing 3 contracts of MES, but would you try to run like one still or?
Yeah, I would definitely say, let me bring up the MES chart actually. I would definitely say if you even for smaller accounts, still leave runners if you can. So let's say, for example, let's see. All right, let's just say for the sake of the conversation, you take this 2-1-2 up. Your first target was already hit right here. Let's see, we got to zoom out. Actually, I'll just use this down here because the targets are right there. I don't want to zoom out. So let's say you take this 2-2 up. Your first target, of course, is here. Second target. If the targets are this close, like these 2 candles here, I won't really bother marking that off. But third target, fourth target. If you have 3 contracts, I would take 1 or 2 off at the first profit target. And then we hit the second target, you will take the second one off, and then you'll leave the third one. Now you can do one of 2 things. Although with the next candle that continued you up, it hit the 4th target. So you can either have taken it off here, or once it hit this, you would have set a stop loss for your last one right here and just raised it up once it hit this to this, which this candle would have stopped you out at. Or you could just taking your third one off there. Again, depending what time frame you enter on, if there's no reversal on the time frame that you get on, there's no reason for you to get out, assuming you're out of contracts. Obviously, if you have 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, and then leave, then stop the last one here and then take it off there, that's fine as well. But if whatever time frame you're on, if there's no reversal against you, you're good to stay in the trade. That's how I don't know his real name. If you see this Revenant, shout out to you. He took this, I think this SPY short off a 30-minute chart, and the 30-minute never gave a reversal back to the upside for him to get out the trade, and he made 5,000% on that put, which is amazing. I've never hit 5,000%, but let's see if I get blessed with that this year. So, well, whatever time frame you're on, stay in the trade as long as you can, assuming you have contracts to do so, and just take your profit as you continue moving forward and as you build your account to be able to afford more. Let me know if that makes sense.
I guess one of the main reasons why I kind of cut it early is like I have that idea of like my daily goal in mind. And so like as soon as like I even if it comes a little before my first target, it's like once I see it hit my daily goal I have for myself, I'm kind of just like, all right, that's enough for me. But
Well, yeah, I do the same thing myself too. So let's just say if my goal is $100 a day, let me
yeah, because that's
see.
me right now is $100 on 3 contracts. So
So
sometimes it happens pretty quick.
So this right here is an 11. Actually, let's do even the first one. That's 3 points. If you do 3 contract, that's $15 per point. So that's $45 right there. You're securing $15 at the first one. Then let's say the second will give you $30. And then let's just say, well, actually, hold on. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. My
Yeah, you're so good.
froze, or my trading view froze. Cannot wait until my new laptop comes in on Tuesday. Tired of this. Unacceptable. Cool. I'm finally back. Anyway, so then the second target is 7.25, which would be, that would be what, 7 times 5, 35. 35 bucks. So you're at $50 just for the 2 contracts that you sold so far. You're halfway through your goal. And based on the trade, you can leave your runner in. If you sell your third one here, that is 8.75. It's about 40, what, $46, $47 for the third contract. You're basically right there at your goal. You're, what was that, 40, the 35 times, and you got 15 for the first one. Yeah, you're like $3 away from your goal. And
Yeah,
that,
what's been happening to me lately is like I've been entering off the 15 and 30 minute. So my first target's normally like it's pretty decent size. So like I'll hit my target or like my daily goal at or a little before the first target and get fully out. And then it'd run like an extra like 40 points in my direction or something. And I'm like, oh dang. I could have had
And
like
that-
a whole week right there.
and that too, like that's happened to me. It can be frustrating, but again, it's just it's being okay and being appreciative of what we do get. So for example, that, like I mentioned to you, is like use the higher time frame so you can stay in. So for example, if I got in on this 15-minute, actually this is a TTO on the 15-minute right here. Boom, and then we keep on going up on the uptrend. Anyway, so on the 15-minute, you enter here, you have no reason to get out of your runner until it reverses back on you. So you could have either trimmed the last one there, or you could have just gotten out. You could have stopped out right here once it reversed on you. Although then it did a inside bar and kept on going up. So it is what it is.
Always just get back in on that inside bar though. It looks pretty good too.
Exactly. You can always get back in, and you can also reference, like I always mentioned, with the strat, you always go from the higher time frames to the lower ones. The 1 hour chart, that thing is on a rocket. Whoever got in on this hammer, shit, you were good. Literally you got in. Let me move the chat real quick. You got in 3.924. It reversed at 3.959. So hold on. Boom. That's 36 points. My daily goal is 10 points a day for my personal account. So shit, 36 points. If I got in on the hourly, I'm a happy man. I'm taking an extra day off. But yeah, always reference the higher time frames, just to make sure you're still good to stay in the trades. But yeah.
So only reference higher time frames to keep an eye on if you should stay in it. Not lower.
For your runners, you can look at the lower ones as well, but for the most part, we want to see what the higher ones are doing. Because on the hourly, we didn't get any signal to get out of here at all until what, 10:30? We go on the 15-minute. I mean, on the 5-minute, if the TTO on the hourly is somewhere around here, I would have been stopped out on the 5-minute, like right here on this candle or this reversal or all of these. So we always have to look at the higher time frames to get a proper picture of what's happening. Because if we stick, like I had somebody be like, oh my God, but I was on the 2-minute and then it reversed on me. I'm like, dude, like the 5-minute, there's no reversal. 15-minute, no reversal. 30-minute, no reversal. Keep your runners in there. And like CS Tim said just now, like journal and backtest. Well, for those who are watching the replay, since you can't really see the chat, at least I don't think you can. CS Tim said journal and backtest. See how often you got out early and it kept on running for you. He ended up journaling and backtesting that, and it helped him with more confidence and made him see that he was cashing out way too early on his trades and way too often, which is another thing. Well, before I go into that, let me know if all that makes sense.
Yeah, that's making a lot of sense.
Cool. So yeah, always reference the higher time frames as well, just to make sure that your runners are good to stay in there. But of course, just keep on raising your stop loss as you get to specific thresholds. We don't want to be greedy either. So I've spoken about this before. Journaling is a very, very big thing. If you don't do it, you need, and not even in my opinion, you need to journal. If you want to be successful at trading, you need to journal, period. You need to find out what kind of trades work for you, what kind of trades don't work for you. I think Jaden, you asked me earlier what trades are like something about like the strategy and like what works and what doesn't. For me, journaling was a big component in that, because I used to be Mr. Scalper, Mr. Breakout, Mr. all these things. And then I started paying attention to my journal and writing down the types of trades that I take. And it's like, all right, well, these breakout trades, they're not really working for me. These scalps, they're not really working for me. But these reversal trades on these specific time frames are working for me. So when I eliminated all of those things that don't work for me, I only do now what works for me. And that's basically all it is. Find what works and just literally stick to that. It's boring as hell, I'll tell you that, waiting for reversals, but it keeps me profitable. I'll tell you that. Because if I were to incorporate my scalps back into my trading, my P&L would not look the way it does now. I'll tell you that much. And again, by you writing all these things down, you learn what type of trader you are. And another big thing, don't pay attention to what other people are doing if it doesn't work for you. Shit, I know this dude who trades on the 30-second chart. I have, bless his soul, I don't know how he does it. It works for him. I can tell you now, it will never work for me. But again, just figure out what works for you and just stick to that. Also, little note, if you're going to use a strat, we do not trade breakouts. We do not trade orbs or whatever the heck that thing is. Opening range break. We don't do that. Just putting that out there. Cool. That's answers your question, Jordan. Anybody else? You can type on the chat whatever question you want me to answer, or you could come off mute. You're more than welcome to speak as well. And yeah, more questions, please.
Just really quick, because I've never seen them before. What are these numbers on your graph? And how are they like determined?
So the numbers are essentially a component of the strat. So the candles are labeled 1, 2, and 3. The 1 candles are inside bars, 2 candles are directional bars, and 3 candles are outside bars. Now to explain it better, have you ever read the Candlestick Bible?
Yeah, but I read it a while ago. I have to reread it.
Definitely reread it. So 1 candles are basically inside bars. For those who aren't familiar, inside bars are just candles that closed within the top and bottom of the previous candle. So right here, this 1 candle closed inside this 2 candle, and then this 1 candle closed inside within the range of the top and the bottom, which is why it's another 1 candle. A 2 candle is a candle that broke one direction of the previous candle. So as we can see here, we get this 2 up, which it broke one direction of the previous candle. And here we get a 2 down because it broke below the previous candle. So a 2 down breaks below, 2 up breaks above. Now for a 3 candle, it broke below and above the previous candle. Now, essentially what a 3 candle signifies is that the range, the trading range is being expanded now. So it's being expanded to the downside, it's being expanded to the upside. So we're gonna be getting more movement, whether it's up or down. And a quick tidbit: a 3 candle is a broadening formation on a lower time frame.
I see. Thank you.
Of course. And then again, with the specific numbers, with the strat, there's different candle combinations. Is like did you read the strat ebook or look at any of the candle combinations that I have in the Discord?
I'm actually not in the Discord. I didn't know you had one until just now.
Oh, cool. So I'll link you to that in the follow-up email. Also, since before I forget, I'll just mention this now. For those who are here and for those who are watching the replay, well, whoever is here on the live, on the follow-up email that I sent out, since you guys are here and participated, I'm going to send you a 30% off for any of my services or products. You can use that indefinitely. It doesn't expire. So if I ever have like a future webinar or literally whatever it is, you can just, hey, Desi, can I use this thing here? Yes, just let me know prior and then I'll generate the code for you. So whoever's watching this and whoever's here, you get 30% off of any of my services, products, whatever. Just let me know. Or actually, don't let me know specifically, but for the ones that I do have out already, I'll be creating a code and I'll be sending it to you guys in the follow-up email to use. And for those who see this on the replay, you'll have to either email me at ceruleanmindacademy@gmail.com or just message me wherever you know me from, and I'll send you the code. Cool. So yeah, with all that being said, in the Discord, in the Strat Academy section, I have the Strat ebook, basically literally all the components of the strategy that I use. It's literally all there. Yeah. So with all that being said, with the strat, let me see if I can actually bring it up and share my screen real quick to show you. Give me a sec. Also, just putting this out there now. These calls usually run an hour. I might go 15 minutes extra just because I want to share something that I've been studying the last 2 weeks, which I think will be very beneficial to those listening. Let me see, give me a sec. Let me find this. Strat ebook, perfect. All right, I'm gonna share my browser now. Let me know if you guys can see this.
I can see it.
Yeah, so with the ebook, it's gonna show it. Basically, there's a bunch of blah, blah, blah. What's a strat? So it tells you the types of candles, the numbers, what they mean, the combinations. So there's reversals, continuations. I play reversals. So there are all of these here. So with the candles, they in different sequences, they create different setups and different trades that you can take. And then here it'll tell you if they're good, their cons, their the pros and cons. Personally, I go for 2-1-2s, 3-1-2s, 1-1-2s, 1-1-2s, whatever it may be. I've been trading 3-2s recently, which have been working for me. So I kind of incorporated that recently. So yeah, literally just find what works for you and just go from there. As a new strat user, to put this out there, stick to 2 to 3 patterns and then build from there. Don't try to take every single pattern out there. Just focus on 2 to 3 patterns. I would even say focus on two patterns as you get more familiar with the strat. because if you try to take all of them, you're going to overwhelm yourself, and we don't want that. And then in the ebook, it tells you as well, like when to enter, when to get out, how, like entries, how your targets, all that stuff, stop losses, TTOs, and everything else. Cool. Stopping that there. So yeah, I'll definitely send you guys all that info in the follow-up email. For whoever's watching this replay on YouTube, it'll be in the description with all the information where you can join the Discord, all the other good stuff. If you aren't already in it. And yeah, I'll take one more question, and then I will speak on something that I want to share with you guys that I've been studying the last 2 days, or the last 2-3 weeks. Well, more than that, but I've been studying a lot more recently. All righty, so if there aren't any more questions, we'll start sharing this. All right, cool. So let me actually just put it on screen so you guys can read it, and whoever's watching the replay. So one thing that I've been studying a lot recently is, and I'll keep this relatively simple because if I go into detail, we'll be here for an hour. So training your subconscious mind, and a lot of the things that we tell ourselves and the way we, the things that we tell ourselves, the actions that we take, a lot of that goes into the, how do I say this? What's the proper way of saying this? A lot of that goes into whether we move towards or further away from our goals. I'll go into the 5 steps to success or failure next, but really quickly, I'm going to go over this. The language we think or say to ourselves is a hint on what needs to be looked at or what needs to be addressed. So for example, I guess I'll just keep him anonymous for the sake of this, but I had somebody tell me the other day, they asked me, hey, I'm up 60 or 80% on regular stock. And they were like, hey, like, what should I do? Should I take my profit? Should I leave it there to make some more, blah, blah, blah. And I told them, I'm like, hey, look, if that was me, and really quickly, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't really tell you guys what to do. I'll just tell you what I would do. At least, just putting that out there. He asked me, what should I do? X, Y, and Z. I'm like, look, if that was me, I would at least trim some profit off. I think he was up like 2K or something, and he put about 500 in, and he was up like $900. Almost, no. Yeah, he was up, confused myself now. There's a lot that was sent. He put in 500. I think he was up about 4, almost 5, almost doubling his money. And he was like, should I take this off or should I leave it there? I think it's going to go higher, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, all right, by the language that he's saying, it looks like his greed is taking over his mind right now. Because he's like, oh, should I leave it? It might go higher. You basically doubled your money. In my opinion, you should have almost the whole position trimmed at this point. Personally, and just leave your runners to go as high as they can, and then you get stopped out in profit. So I told them what I would do is just take most of the position off, or at least take the initial investment off plus half. So if you put in 500, at least take 750 out of the position. So you can get your original investment back plus 50%, and the rest is just as your runner. So then he sent me 2 more messages. Hey, so, like, I was thinking because like they might have this happening here in a month or this or that. I'm like, all right, let's take a step back for a sec. And let's look at the language that's being used. I think this might. Those are clues to get us to notice what's going on. So in that specific situation, greed was the main culprit. Hey, let me just keep it a little longer because it might go higher. Is the chart telling you? If the chart is telling you it's going to go higher, stay in it, but take your profit at the same time. But if you're going, excuse me, if you're going off your thoughts and your feelings, that's not going to help you succeed in your trading. I'll tell you that right now. So if the chart is telling you it's going to go higher, or based on what the chart is telling you, it's giving you the probability that it'll go higher. Cool. Take some profit off, let it keep on going. But if we're telling things to ourselves like, oh, I think this, it may do this, then we need to take a step back and see what's happening. Because, and of course, being transparent, sometimes that still happens to me. But thankfully, I am mindful and aware of these things before they take over me. Like, oh shit, I'm up 200%. It might keep on going higher. I'm like, wait, it might go higher. What the fuck are you talking about? Let me look at the chart again. All right, cool. Based on the chart, it looks like if this triggers a continuations, it'll go higher. If it doesn't, it's going to go against me. Cool. Let me take another runner off here. Let me leave this one there and see what happens based on what the chart is telling me. Let me know if that makes sense before I continue. If not, I can give another example.
Making sense to me.
Cool. Perfect. So again, with the language that we use, it's a hint on what needs to be looked at. And like you guys might catch me, whoever's in the group, you might catch me telling people, like, oh, I took this play or I took this. We need to use proper language. If you use the term, I took this play, we're trading. The name of what we're doing is, this is a business at the end of the day. We're here to make money. We're not here to play games. If you use the term, oh, I took this play, you're conditioning your mind in a way to think of it as a game. Now, ultimately, I believe that it needs to be looked at as a business, as a profession. And even to give yourself this question to think on. If you had a business and you had an employee that looked at your business as a game, would you want them to work for you? The answer is probably more than likely going to be no. So we need to have the same standard for ourselves and that same mindset going into this. So if you're going to take a trade, we need to look at it as that. I took this trade. I didn't take this play because we're not playing a game. We're trading. And I think that's all I have to say about that for now. I'll say a lot more down the line. Cool. So this is a quick little rough draft that I just drew here just for the sake of the call. And I'll link this. This is a book. Let me see. I forgot the name of it. Sorry, bear with me. There's a lot of stuff on my mind. All right, cool. So this is a book that's called, I got this from What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. And I'll post it in the follow-up email. Let me actually make that as a note for myself because I forget. Send What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Book in follow-up. Cool. Thank you guys for your patience. So I got this from the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Shad Helmstetter. And it's an extremely powerful book. Essentially, it goes into detail, and I'll send you the study notes as well which is about an hour long. So you can get like an overview of the book, and then definitely read the book as well. I highly recommend it. What we tell ourselves essentially is going to influence our subconscious mind and our beliefs and how we act and how we the actions that we take in our everyday lives, whether it be our personal lives, relationships, whatever it may be. So with all that being said, the 5 steps to success or failure, the first one being behavior. What actions are you taking or aren't you taking to reach your goal? To give a quick little example, if one of your goals is to be successful in trading, what actions are you taking to be a better trader? Are you taking the time out of your day, at least 30 minutes to an hour out of your day, to really study and, like, present and mindfully study whatever it is that you're looking up when it comes to your trading? So for example, if I want to understand TTOs better, I got to take at least 20, 30 minutes or an hour out of my day to look up videos and review charts and look for them. It's like, how do I expect to succeed in learning it if I'm not taking the action to do so? Now, second, with our feelings, essentially they control our action, and our actions are based on our feelings. For example, I feel like doing this, or I feel like doing that, or I don't feel like doing this, or I don't feel like doing that. Now, how can we change our feelings? Ultimately, we do this by changing our attitude, and our feelings are created and controlled and determined by our attitudes. Which, number 3, our attitude. So when we change our attitude, we can view things differently, and our attitudes are essentially create, control, and are influenced by our beliefs. So before I go into the beliefs portion, for our attitudes, look at it this way. Or to give you an example, for me, before, I did not like sitting in front of a computer, looking at a video for an hour, 2 hours, taking notes, studying. I did not like studying before. But now, by changing my attitude when it comes to studying, it's helped me being able to focus and actually enjoy it a lot more. So instead of being like, oh, yeah, now I got to study, I got to sit down here for 2 hours and be bored, I can change my attitude to it and say instead, remember, the language we use is powerful, and it helps shape our subconscious and how we act. So instead of being like, oh, now I'm going to be bored, I don't like doing this because it's boring, or I'm going to sit here for 2 hours, whatever. Instead, I look at it this way, and I tell myself this: I'm going to enjoy sitting and learning about this because it's going to better hone my skills as a trader, as a coach, as a partner to my girlfriend, as a friend, as a son, as whatever it may be, whatever it is that I'm learning. And that's going to help enrich my life and ultimately make me a better person in whatever area I want to focus on. So by changing my attitude, it's helped me a lot in doing things that I normally, or before, I didn't like doing. Another quick example, I'm pretty sure a lot of you here do not like waking up early. I don't either, but I changed my attitude around that. By instead of being like, oh, it's 8 a.m. or 7 or 7:30, I gotta wake up, I'm tired, I'm this. It's like, no, it's hell yeah, it's 7:30, it's 8 a.m. I get to wake up early. I get to experience the morning sun. I get to work out. I get to exercise. I get to do my meditations, all my other stuff early in the peace and the quiet. So, and I enjoy doing those things, and it'll put you in a place where you can better enjoy it. Making sense so far before I continue?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So now with your beliefs are ultimately what's going to determine how your attitude, how you feel, the actions you take, whether they're subconscious or conscious, in which it will help you succeed or fail. And our beliefs are based on our programming. So again, our beliefs, if I believe that studying is boring, I'm going to be behaving, or I'm going to be behaving in the sense that I'm not going to be studying because because I, my attitude is that, I believe that studying is boring and I don't like doing things that are boring. So that's ultimately going to make me not do those things because, whatever you believe, you're going to act on that belief. And our beliefs, again, are based on our programming. Our programming, super straightforward, was imprinted or instilled on us from the day we were born, to the day that, or, to where we live now. It comes from people, family members, friends, strangers, anybody. What they tell you, what they tell you, what you hear, what you read, what you watch, even the actions you take, amongst a lot of other things, are going to influence your beliefs. Now, whether the belief is true, whether it's wrong, whether it's false, whatever, it's still going to influence what you believe. I'll give you several examples. I mentioned this in my limiting beliefs video on YouTube, but like, for example, a belief that I had, or a limiting belief that was affecting my trading, was something that my dad would tell me. He would be like, oh, hey son, you need to go to school to make a lot of money, X, Y, and Z. So by me hearing that, I was being programmed to think that in order to make a lot of money, I need to go to school. So in the sense of trading, how that can affect you in trading is your beliefs are going to influence your actions, your behavior. So if I believe that I can't make a lot of money, or I can't make easy money trading, I'm going to self-sabotage myself. And what was happening during that time in my trading career, when he would tell me these things, I would make a lot of money and then I'll give it right back, because I was believing somewhere in my subconscious that I either didn't deserve to make easy money or a lot of money trading, or I couldn't make easy money or a lot of money trading. So based on our programming, that's going to affect a lot of our everyday life, whether it be our personal life or our trading life or professional life, whatever it may be. What else? To give you another example about what people tell you, I'll give you an example. I think 2 days ago, or yesterday, I think it was, I put a post on Reddit for the PayPal trade that I posted on the group that brought back 500%. I don't know what stick was up everybody's ass, but that day, but I would say 80% of the people in that thread, or that post that I posted the trade recap, they said that was a stupid trade, that I got lucky, I got this, I got that. So for them, if I was my old self, that would program me to think, oh, that was a stupid trade. I did get lucky. But in reality, that's far from the truth. I literally took a hammer trade right off of broader information, which if you understand the strat, that's a really powerful move. So, yeah, with all that being said, a lot of things that people tell you are going to influence you. And when I finish this little portion, I'm going to go into little things that can help you to counteract that. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jordan. So yeah, like those people, they're like, oh, your broader informations are wrong. Your trend lines are wrong. I'm like, dude, there's no trend lines on this chart at all. And again, really quickly to put this out there, one thing that I've learned in my coaching career, in my trading career, in my personal life, give energy to what is important and ignore the energy that is not important to help you. Like, for example, I'm not going to waste my energy telling people that, actually, sir, my broader informations are correct. I know they're correct. Are they correct for them based on their strategy? Probably not. But I don't care enough to waste my time and my energy explaining that. I have a lot better things to do than explain to people that actually my, whatever I'm doing is the correct way with whatever it is, whatever strategy it is that I'm doing. Hopefully that makes sense. Ultimately saying is like, you don't need to prove yourself to nobody. Like what I love is people who are fully committed and who fully just are on board with me. Actually, I'll just stop talking about that now because I'm gonna go on a tangent. Anyway, moving back to these things here, things that people tell you, things that you read. If I were to read that and be like, oh shit, this trade was crappy or whatever, then I'm gonna believe that, and then I might not take that trade again. But since I have the confidence and I know what I'm doing, I'm definitely going to do that again. And it works. Hello? So, and again, things that you watch, things that you say to yourself, things that you do, they're going to influence and program you. So, let me know if that makes sense. And if you have any questions about this, let me know before I go into the last little bit that's going to talk about, some steps that we can use to counteract the negative programming. All righty. So things that you can do to counteract the negative programming, several things. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Do the best that you can to set boundaries to limit the amount of negative programming that isn't for you with people. So for example, let's just say I didn't do this with my dad, but if I did care enough, like for my dad, I'll be like, hey, dad, look, I made $5,000 this week trading stocks. Instead of setting a boundary, can be like, if possible, I would like it if you don't bring up anymore that I need to go to school or X, Y, and Z to make money. And hopefully whoever you talk to will appreciate that, or they will respect your boundary. And also limit yourself to what you are absorbing. So for example, like I just mentioned with Reddit, on Reddit, I don't pay no mind to people who talk a bunch of crap. I don't pay no mind to, well, let me be clear. I do read what people say. And if it's constructive, I'll definitely take it and just absorb it to better myself if I can. But if it's just like straight like trash talk, I'm just gonna avoid it. So with people that come at certain things, lost my train of thought for a second. With people who approach me with a specific mentality or like energy, I kind of just ignore it and don't give it any time of day. So with that being said, is like if somebody tells me, hey, this trade was stupid, I'm not even going to waste my energy explaining to them that the trade actually was not stupid. I had this gentleman who messaged me, and he was like, "Hey man, I saw your trade. Can you explain a little more, like what you saw?" That is the person that I will interact with. And yeah, just limit as much as you can until you get a good system where these things don't affect you, where you can still see those things, but they don't really affect you as much or at all. So, you know, if you're on stock twits, whoever uses stock twits, you would know that people in there, yeah, I'll just let my reaction just speak for itself. Stay off of stock twits, please. Twitter, Reddit, a lot of these places, try not to be around or like absorb so much like negative stuff that isn't necessarily helping you. Wall Street bets, definitely stay away from there as much as you can. And what would help, another thing is being, like I said, being around like-minded people. For example, one of the biggest things that helped me in my trading was being around people who were successful in their trading. My strat mentors, they taught me that 100% or more a day is attainable consistently. Being around my cousin, he trades full time, and some of his friends trade full time too. I was around them for a long time. That helped me be in that space and really absorb what it is to be in that space. And then ultimately you realize, this might be another little random tangent, but like people who want you to succeed and people who are succeeding will never waste their time talking down to you, and they will never waste their time ultimately, yeah, like talking down to you and stuff like that. Because my mentors and my cousin and everybody else, they never said, "Hey man, I can't really think of anything right now," but it was always things that was uplifting. It was always things that would better the craft, that would better help me hone these things. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it does. And again, I'm super passionate about all of this, so if I ramble, bear with me. I love this stuff. I love talking about it. As you can see here, we're like half an hour over, which is okay. I'll be ending this relatively shortly.
That makes perfect sense.
Cool. So yeah, just surround yourself with people who want to do what you want to do. I know it can be hard in our regular lives because like a lot of people, like shit. I think besides my cousin and his friends and like one of my good friends, everybody else I know doesn't trade or trade full time. So they don't really understand this. So if I tell them something, they're not really going to understand what I'm talking about. So just be around people ultimately. Be around people who ultimately want you to succeed and want you to improve. And I promise you that you will, especially being in that environment. Jordan, I appreciate you. And again, like, I ultimately want you to succeed. I know you will succeed. And of course, for those who know me, I can be hard sometimes, but it's out of love. And I just want you guys to win. Because I know ultimately, a lot of things that people want to do in their lives is to have more freedom, be with their family, to not work at crappy jobs or shitty jobs, to not give any more of their life to jobs that they don't like being at. And me experiencing this myself, I'm like, bro, I wish I experienced it sooner. And me experiencing this is why I do what I do. Like why I go so hard in like learning all these things, not only for myself, but to teach others. Because I want others ultimately to succeed as well and to experience what I succeed or to experience what I experience. Like even King, like he mentioned to me and Pablo in the group, like us teaching him how to trade effectively has helped him be, I guess I won't speak too much, or if you don't mind, King, I'll kind of give some details. But you know, like for King, he's making extra income where I could be wrong about this, but from what I remember is like, you know, like your wife, I don't think she works anymore, so she can be home with the kids. And then you, from what I remember, don't need to work as much or something like that, and you can spend more times with your family, which is ultimately what we want. We don't want to stay at a job for like 40, 60 hours a week and like not be with our family. Like we want to experience life. We want to enjoy our time with our family. And then, you know, trading is a method to get extra income. So we don't need to work those extra 20, 30 hours a week. We can spend more quality time and not be out of it or tired with our family. So yeah, you know, like ultimately, like to me, I just want everybody around me to win. And thank you for thank you for listening to my monologue and my rant. And yeah, I'll be sending you guys some resources to help in. And again, for those in the Discord, check out the audiobook section. There's like books like Mastering Emotions, Think and Grow Rich, the one that I'm gonna follow up here in the email for this thing. What was I gonna say? Yeah, they're all there in the Discord, so you can like read up on it. And I'll send some of it in the follow-up email, and I'll post it in the description for this replay, for those seeing the replay. For those reading the replay, Jordan said, thanks again for this. This is my second Q&A, and I'm loving it so far. I'm very, very glad that you are. I'm gonna end this shortly. One thing that I wanted to ask you guys, and also for whoever's here, yeah, whoever's not in the Discord, definitely join. And yeah, you're very welcome, Jaden. For those who can't read the chat, Jaden said this was an amazing opportunity. He learned so much, and he thanked me for taking the time to educate everyone. Again, you know, I love this stuff and I love helping people. That's a big passion of mine. But yeah, you're very, very welcome. What was I gonna say? Oh, cool. I just remembered. So this one I had at 9 p.m. The 7:30 or does 8 p.m. work better for you guys? And I'll make a poll on the Discord and I'll make a like a little commentary thing on the replay on YouTube so people can tell me. The 7:30 p.m. Eastern work better for everybody, or does 8 p.m. Work better for you guys? You can either type it on the chat or just come out on voice and let me know. All right. So either is the consensus. Personally, I'm leaning towards 8 p.m. But I can definitely do 7:30 p.m. For the next one. And I'll make a poll and then adjust it from there. Cool. So perfect. So before we head out, for those who don't know, like I mentioned earlier, I am a coach and I do mentor people for their trading. Well, honestly, I help people with everything for your personal life, trading life, whatever you need help with, I got you. So the way yoga tips, yeah, breathing, whatever you need help with, I'm here for you. So whatever you guys need help with, I'm here for you. I do offer one-on-one sessions. I also offer mentorships. Right now, my mentorship slots are full, but they will be opening up after next Saturday. So I would say next Saturday on the 20th, after November 20th, I'll be available to taking new students again for my mentorship. But my one-on-ones are still open for whenever. And for whoever is in the Discord, you do get 25% off of my one-on-one sessions. So something to put out there if you don't know. And yeah, I will post the link in the follow-up email for those who don't have it. And I'll post it in the description in the replay video for YouTube. You can either go to caddenly.com/DesiLiriano, or you can go to, it should be ceruleanmindacademy.gumroad.com. That has everything there as well. If you book me directly through Calendly, you can only pay through PayPal. But if you use Gumroad, you can do PayPal, or you can do other methods as well. And if neither of those methods work for you, just let me know and we can figure something else out. Like some people have paid me in crypto. It's perfectly fine with me. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate all of you for coming out. Again, I love this stuff. I love all of you guys. I appreciate you listening to me, as always. And yeah, I'll post all of this stuff. I'll probably post this by midnight tonight because I got to stay up and do some things around the house while I wait for this to upload. If not, this will be up by tomorrow morning, probably 9 a.m. And the follow-up emails will be sent around that time as well. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, cool. Any last things? Let me know now. If not, I will be ending this in like 2 minutes. Cool. Thank you for your thing, Dan. All righty. Nothing else. Thank you guys. I will see you on the internet and have a beautiful night.
Have a good night.
Later.